Hello and welcome to another video. Today I have these Katana H4 LED headlights. So I have an old second gen Toyota Prius. So essentially, it has halogen bulbs and they're not bright enough because you can imagine everybody has brighter bulbs now that blind you, and I'm not blinding anybody. So I figured I need to do something to blind other people. So I got LED lights. Essentially, traditionally you would need a adapter or something like that to make H4 bulbs, LED bulbs fit your socket, but these have a built-in adapter and cooling system. So essentially these are plug and play. Let's pull them out of here. They do have that wire here. It's not like the regular bulb where it just plugs into this back. This does have the fan in the back to cool the LED headlights, as you can tell right here. So the wire from the car won't directly plug into here, but there will be an extra kind of wire that was sticking out. This will actually make your installation job a little bit easier. You can actually remove this guard if you need to, but let's go ahead and install it into my 2007 Prius, which is a second gen Prius, and see how it works. Okay, so in the Prius, on the driver's side, you have to remove the cap here to just kind of give yourself extra room to work. So this cap has clips on the sides that you just kind of pop off, and then it just kind of comes off. And this gives you like an inch extra space to work here. So if you look at the headlight from the front, you can kind of estimate where the cable should be. So it should be right behind the headlight. So I'm reaching behind there. And if you want to figure out how to open it up, so you can see it's the same clip here. So this kind of just presses in and then you pull it out, right? So it's going to be a similar kind of operation there. So I'm going to reach back there and feel for the cable. It should be attached to a rubbery soft boot. So make sure you're feeling a boot behind that switch. So I feel that. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I can visualize it. Okay. And there is another cable in the way that I'm going to push away and just grasp. Okay, so I pulled it out. As you can see, this is all cracked because this is a 15-year-old cable. It still works, the headlight still works. I'm just changing it to brighter bulbs, but you can see this is cracked. But that yellow stuff that you see in there, that's actually connector grease. So it actually prevents the connectors from rusting. So my LED bulb, I'm going to make sure it connects properly because you don't want to install it if it's not going to connect, right? So as you can see, it connects just fine. You can even turn your car on and turn this on, make sure the bulb works. But it's brand new. I have no reason to suspect it won't work. So I'm going to take that off here. This, because you have an extra cable here, it's actually going to make your job a little easier because when you have a short cable, it can kind of get difficult. So if you look inside here, so if you feel inside here, there's that rubber boot that I was talking about. You're gonna turn it counterclockwise, right? So righty tighty, lefty loosey. So if you're looking at it from this, you wanna turn it this way, counterclockwise, and you'll have little studs. And so I'm turning it right now. And it is a tight space, so you may have to try different hands to see if you can get leverage. There we go. And you'll feel that knock when it's turned all the way. Once it's turned all the way, you can grab that boot and pull it out. So you may have to wiggle it a little bit to get it out because it's, the bulb that's mounted on may be stuck to it. It is very old, so as you can imagine, it's, stuck to the car itself. But you just softly kind of turn it from one direction to the other. Eventually it'll pop out. So no matter who's doing it, if you're doing it, Toyota's doing it, they're gonna have to do the same thing. Kind of just finagle it until it comes out. If you go to your dealership or stealership, as some people like to call it, they may charge you about $100 to change both the headlights. Because it does take some time. Okay, so the boot's off. This part was kind of stuck onto the headlight. Now you can reach in there and then grab the, so the headlight is held in place with a little pin. You're gonna have to feel for that pin and push it out of the way. So that pin is holding the headlight in place so it doesn't move around as the car moves around. You're gonna feel for the pin. Okay, so I had the clip off. Essentially, it's like a U-shaped clip that once you fill it, it's very small. You push it in towards the bulb and then swing it out. And then your bulb is loose. So make sure you just swing it all the way out of the way. Once your bulb is loose, part of the pin could still be kind of holding it in there, but you kind of feel it such that you're gonna get it out of the way all the way, and then you can pull the bulb out. So this is the old bulb. As you can see, this plate that we took out of the old bulb, it may be useful. So I might actually put the plate back in there because this one does have that plate right there. When you're putting it in there, you can see the hood of the bulb. So the shiny part, this essentially the bulb has to go into that hood of the, so you can kind of see my finger in there. I don't know if you can, but essentially you have to direct it to be sitting behind the hood of the bulb. And you're gonna have to, with your one finger, push that pin out of the way so you can get this whole bulb in there and seating behind that hood. So that circular plate, I actually put that in first and then put the bulb through it. So you want to make sure that the notch, one of the notches for the circular plate is pointing downwards. You can see a notch under the hood there. If you look closely, there's a little notch, and that's where it's supposed to line up. Once you do that, you can put the bulb in from back and then turn it in place such that the cable that's coming out, it's coming out to this angle. All right, and then you swing the metal pin back in place and push it in and into its holder. Once you've done that, you have the cable. You might have lost the actual headlight cable in here. I can see it in there with the light, and you just kind of pull that out. So once you have this in place, you want to make sure you plug this in. Before you put the boot and everything in, you plug this in. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and try to turn the headlights on and make sure it works before I close it all up, okay? As you can see, it's bright and it's working just fine. I'm gonna do high beam and see how that works. Okay, now that we've verified that this works, we can unplug. Make sure you keep this cable accessible. I'm gonna try to plug it in here or something like that. And then you need to put this boot back in there. But this boot is no longer gonna hold just the headlight in there. So you wanna make sure you feed that LED cable through here. So this rubber boot, you wanna turn it inside out, and then you'll be able to push the pin through. And then once you push the pin through, you can connect it. The way it works, if you look on the boot here, it'll tell you what the top is. So this says top, so that's gonna be on the top. Then you kind of slide the cable out of the boot and then slide it into where it needs to go. So you're gonna push that down, keeping that orientation top as top. And then once you have it kind of on the hole, remember the boot is soft, right? So it's gonna be malleable enough to allow you to have that LED light pop out a little bit. But you still need to close this properly so that you don't get any leakage and things like that. So, and remember that the cable for the LED light comes from the side of that actual headlight. So you wanna feed that through all the way to the LED light. And let's see, I'm just trying to make sure I'm feeding it through all the way. So as you feed it through and get above the headlight, you wanna feel the edges of the boot, and the edges of the boot will line up perfectly with the actual slot. And then remember, we turn counterclockwise to take it off. We're gonna turn it clockwise, and you're gonna have to, again, finagle around a little bit until you get in there perfectly. So that rubber boot is now seating in its correct position. So essentially the two knobs that you're gonna use for grip, they're gonna be going in like this with the top sign up top. And then when you push it in, And once it's seated in place, then you're gonna turn it clockwise until it holds in place. And now I can pull on it, but it's not coming off. Once you're done with that, you're gonna put this back on there. So essentially it's just gonna, so that cable, you still have a loose cable out there. You're gonna just kind of tuck it inside. And then this, it just snaps in place, okay? Don't mind this is open because I'm working on a different project. Now we're gonna go over to the passenger side. The passenger side is a little bit more difficult. You're gonna have to take these two tabs off. The way you take the tabs off is essentially use like a flathead to get under it while you unscrew this. So, and then you're gonna just push on it. So you're gonna unscrew this to get it off the, off where it's sitting, and then you're gonna, while you do the unscrew thing, you're just gonna put some pressure from below with the flathead, and it'll pop right out. And so also you can just push from behind. So if you can get your finger inside it, you can kind of push on that tab from behind and it's out. And same thing with this one. This one you may not have to pull out, but what you're trying to do is get under here and see this tab. This is an air redirector. You want to take that out. So you can essentially just, as long as you can bend this enough to get under this and pop this open. So I need a little bit more leeway, so I'm gonna actually have to take this tab off. Again, you can reach behind it and push, and that way you're not breaking anything. And now I have a little bit more room. And then, like I said, you're gonna kind of pop this open. And same thing with this one, you can push from behind. Okay, once this is off, this one just slides out. Once, make sure you keep all those things safe. Once you take that air vent off, now you have access to the boot right here. So on this side, it's actually pretty easily accessible. So the boot is right here. So I'm gonna put my hand, it's right here. You can feel the one tab. And same thing, I'm gonna grab it and then turn it counterclockwise. Actually, I'm gonna take the wire out first. So in the middle of the boot is where the wire is. You just grasp it and pull it out. And as you can see, it's right here. I'm gonna pull it out a little bit so I don't lose it. I'll put it through here. Now that I have the boot turned counterclockwise, let's see. I can grasp the tabs and wiggle until it pops out. So just like the other side, you may have to wiggle a little bit more. And now that I'm familiar with how it works, the second boot, I know that I don't have to do anything special, just keep wiggling until it pulls out. And the reason it's stuck in there like this is because it's been so long, and then the headlight bulb is in there, and it just kind of, the plastic or metal just kind of sticks together, and you just kind of have to keep spinning it until that, until it just kind of comes loose like this. And like I said, so to put that LED headlight wire through, let's just do it while you can see it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just turn this the other way around, okay? So this is the dirty side, obviously, so that's the outside. And this is where the headlight's gonna be. And then you're gonna push it through, just like this. And then you can grab the prongs from this side to help you bring it through. And it's easier probably to do it ahead of time. For the first headlight, I did it after I mounted the bulb. It doesn't really matter, whatever you're comfortable with. And then once you have it through, you can pop the boot back into its original shape, right, like so. And you want to remember, this is the top, so when you put it back on there, this is how you put it on, and then you turn it clockwise. Okay, so let's take that old bulb out. Again, there's going to be a pin which you have to push in, and then swing out. So you want to feel for that paperclip U shape. And now that I've done it one time on the other side, I already feel it, and I'm gonna push and swing it over. There we go. Now swing it over all the way, and the bulb is already loose and in my hands. Okay, now knock that loose. It is a little bit more difficult with the boot in place already. So if that's getting in your way, you can always take the boot off and then put it on after the fact, like I did with the first bulb. Okay, now that I have the bulb, the black plate in and the bulb through it, I'm gonna rotate the black plate until I feel like it's sitting properly. And then you push the headlight through, the LED through, and then turn it into place. And the LED, you want to make sure that it's behind the hood. So right now I'm angling it out so you can see it, but it's gotta go behind the hood. And then you're gonna turn it such that this cable, this LED headlight cable, is on this side, so towards the interior of the car. Once you have it sitting there flush, the pin, you can see the pin right here. This is the pin. You're gonna swing it around the bulb and then notch it in place on the other side where it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna use the other hand to swing the pin around, and because this is my second time doing it, after the first shot I already have it in place. So if I grab the bulb and move it, it's not moving at all. It's perfectly in place. Perfect. And the boot is already here, so what we're gonna do is make sure we find the headlight cable. So I kind of lost it in there, but here's the headlight cable. We're gonna plug it in, and like the first time, we're gonna connect and then check, make sure it's working fine. And if it's working fine, then we'll go ahead and plug it in place, or put the boot back in, because you don't want to do everything, finish the whole job and then find out that the headlight is not functional or not properly functional. So make sure the connection is complete, so there's no gaps in the middle, okay? All right, I have that in place. I'm gonna turn the car on and see how it works. So the headlight is now properly functional. This boot, I'm gonna look for the top. So here it says top. Let's see. So this top is gonna be in the top. Like that, like I said, these two notches on the sides, they're gonna be horizontal. I'm gonna slide it with the cable, and then I'm gonna feel for that circle around my boot. And once I have it aligned with that circle, with the top in place, then I'm going to turn it clockwise. Okay, so I have it engaged. I'm going to turn it clockwise. Here we go, and it knocked in place, and that's it. So don't forget to reinstall the diverter. So this air diverter essentially goes, so there's a hole right here, it needs to go on top. So make sure the cable's out of the way so it can get in place. You're gonna put this back in there, and then make sure you don't lose that tab. So this tab, you're gonna pull out, you're gonna pull the top out so this thing can cinch, right? So you pull the top out, this just cinches in. I'm gonna push it back. I'm gonna push it into that hole. You may have to widen the prongs a little bit such that you can pull out your top. I'm gonna push the bottom in place and then put the clip back in there, and now it's locked in place. And then you're gonna do the same with the other 2 pins. So same thing, you wanna pull it out. Once the bottom's in, wait, this is not the same pin. Okay, you want to do the same with the other pins. So you're going to put the bottom in first, then the top. This kind of locks it in place. Same thing with the second pin right here. You're going to pull the bottom out so that this can cinch down. Put it in, push it in place. That's safe and secure. And now you're done with your headlight change. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, comment if you have any questions. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.